All right, I got to have a other machine on so I can actually monitor what's going on. So, anyways,
Oh, sure.
I don't know. I don't even know where to go with this. Where should we go? So you've got the player's guide, right? And
I
things like that. We've
do.
talked a little bit. Have you? And I know you haven't had a real big chance to really dive into it, and so it'll be a little bit more fun for you to figure it out
Cool.
now, right? So
Cool. I'm excited.
on the PDF, I believe you're on page what, 21?
I can certainly go there. Absolutely.
Or if you want to start on page 20, you can definitely do that. That gives you the quick species
Let's do it.
reference, gives you a basic small little concept of what each of the species are about. And then we can go to and you should have and I'm working on this, getting it done. It's a lot of internal links, but you should be able to click on any one of those links and it'll take you to the page number of
Whoa. Okay, that's
of
very
those
cool.
of those characters when you're ready.
I love a good hyperlinked PDF.
It's also got a lot of um, uh, bookmarks in it as well. So
That's awesome. And I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I have it on my
no,
iPad.
no worries, no
The
worries.
easiest way for me to.
So the first question I normally ask everybody when we're doing this is, what kind of archetype do you normally like to play?
I normally play like spellcastery type of thing. So like if I was playing like basic Dungeons and Dragons, I would want to be a magic user almost always.
Well, what about other things
Um,
like Burning Wheel? What kind of archetype do you like
um,
to play in there?
I've actually never played in a game of Burning Wheel. I've only ever run
Run
it.
it? Oh
I've
no!
only run Burning Wheel because it's hard to find anyone who's actually willing to run it.
Right?
Um,
It's a dense
I
book. It's a really dense
it's
book.
a
It's dense.
it's a book, man. Like
It
it
is.
is. Uh, I I think Luke Crane is kind of a genius. I don't think he is really great at writing rules for comprehension.
No, and that's and one of the things that we actually talked about is I've actually got Mouse Guard of the role
Yeah,
playing, and I think that's in this. I think I think that
Oxford is great.
is great. Yeah, I mean it
And it's
took
definitely easier to read than Burning Wheel. I think he tried to make it more accessible,
more
but
accessible. Yeah,
it's still tough.
yeah, no, and it's a
Um,
really good book. I really like it.
I like playing like if I was like so there was some chat with some of my friends about playing Dune, and like I was like, ooh, if I was going to play Dune, I'd want to play as a Mentat, right? Like I would
Right.
want to be the like I like to be the like person who knows things in games, if that makes sense.
The intelligent one.
Yeah, that tends to be what I mean, I either like to do that or I like to play like the dumb, charming, nice guy kind of character.
The
Those are like my
charismatic
two
character.
go-to.
The
Yeah,
face.
yeah. But
Understood.
especially like dumb. Like I
Like
prefer,
dumb.
yeah, they're either like himbos, so they're just like big sweet boys, or they are like a little underhanded, they know things.
Right.
Your Tyrion Lannister type.
So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of those species here that'll actually do that. Now, if you want to
Great.
play a like spellcaster of some sort, the Kova, the Siliph, and the Tajahu tend to be the ones that are, if they were built for one, that's probably what they were built for.
Sure.
If you wanted to play a himbo and don't really care about your size, then the Furbog, and I'm gonna say this, human. Everyone's like, I don't like humans. I don't understand why. My humans are awesome.
Oh, I like
Um,
humans.
the Mannix and the Balian tend to be those. Elwyn really tend to really fall into the charismatic side of things as well. So I mean, it just depends on what you want to do, and and we're a classless system, right, Jordan? So you have to actually
Oh, that's
come
cool. I
in.
didn't know that.
Yeah, you have to come in and go, okay, I want to play this type of character type, because you have to choose your species, then we choose your focus, your skills, and your abilities, and then any other things that are outliers. Like if you're a spellcaster, we got to do spells. If you're a divine priest, we got to choose spells. If you're a Genhur, we got to pull up your pathways and your hand symbols. So there's, it depends on how in
Interesting.
depth you want to go, right? A basic fighter, once you've got the system down, can take you 5 minutes.
Sure. Sure. That's awesome. I am drawn to the Havatu.
Okay.
That seems like a cool. Let me 1 second. I just want to make sure I'm speaking correctly on that. Yeah, I am drawn to that because I see that like I see that there's one with a giant robot boy, um, and that is definitely something that sounds kind of fun to me.
Right. They so what's interesting about the Habatu, the Kova, the Habatu, and the Rakis are all the same. They all have the same ancestral species.
Oh, cool.
And so the Kova are a perfect blend combination of the recklessness and fighting that the Rakas tend to embody, and the artificing, I guess, is probably, I mean, that's probably the best term to use. That's what's most
Sure.
on people's minds, that the Havatu do. And the Havatu are they're the madmen of the world. They build weapons for the rest of the world, right? Um, so yeah, Havatu are fun, but
Let's do it.
they're also very, they're not very outgoing.
Pardon me.
Oh, bless
Okay.
you. Right? They're not very outgoing. They don't like outsiders. They seem to be reserved and cold. They're like, but when it comes down to pranks, they're the kind of pranksters that'll actually pull the prank off, and you will never know it was them, kind of concept. And they'll laugh
Ooh.
behind your back forever. They are gifted engineers, tutors, machinists. They, yeah. So we'll do
That
that.
sounds fun. Let's do it.
All right. So on the top of your character, my character sheet's going to look a little different since I'm kind
Sure.
of sharing my screen, so you should be able to see that as well. At the top, you can, we generally bounce back to that, so I want to get this out of right now. So you have a choice. You can either decide to pick your name now or come back to it.
Okay.
On page 33 and page 34, on page 33, we give you a small basic words of translated from common to Jahuz.
Wow.
And then on page 34, we have some typical names and typical family name, typical surnames.
Oh, cool.
So you can either choose to do that now, or as you build your character, come back. We can come back that towards the end of that and say, you know what, I really want to do this. I really want to
Yeah,
name them this.
so I see a typical name on here that I like, but
Okay.
let's come back to the family names. So I see the name Petiri is how I would pronounce it. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. I feel like is a fun, like it's Petiri under your typical names. That I kind of like that
Oh,
name.
Petri. Right, got you.
Petri.
Petri. I don't know how to pronounce it. I wrote it and I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
I think it's
I
Petiri.
like that
Petiri.
Petiri.
All
Yeah,
right, so we'll
I
just
don't know
throw
why I'm kind of drawn to that idea.
Petiri. And then what about your surname? You want to do that? And what's cool is I've actually found a lot of players that have actually rolled up characters like the words of the small, the basic common words, and they actually come back and like, you know what, I want to be known as this, and they put
Sure.
words together. Like I had, for example, in this one, someone actually put like northern child together, and they're like, can I put Oflegan together? I'm like, yeah, sure, that's what you want to do. It makes sense.
Awesome. So I see son of, and I'm very like that is appealing to me. Um, so like, what appeals to me just from at a glance is like son of deep thought is like an interesting way of saying it, like in
Oh,
English. So the Shak Zirag
Dr.
is like
Girard.
an
I
is an interesting family name to me.
think that works. So what I've done is I put it in your character name, and I've actually put Petitri Shak Zirag, and I've actually hyphenated Shak and Zirag, so it kind of like it's one of those hyphenated names.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. I like that.
That's actually a really cool name. I like that. All right, so at the top of your character sheet, small for your size, put an S there for small, and then on your
Okay.
species, just write in Havatu or however you want to
Oh,
do
that's
it.
good.
We haven't picked your focus yet, and you would definitely be
Okay.
currently a rank 1. Focus
Okay.
is as close to character classes as we get with anything in here. And that is that. So next to for the mechanics of things, there's a big gray box there called Hava 2 features, right? It kind of breaks down what you need to know about them mechanically for games. All right. So they have a base speed of 10. And so that will be in your move, which is the top of your character sheet, top right corner.
Move top right corner. Where? Oh, yes, 10.
Right. In your base, just put 10 there. And then also, because there might be a modifier you pick up later that will modify your movement later. So you, as a Hava 2, you begin speaking Jahuz, Azdehak, and Korshan as your languages, as your starting languages. And then you get to either pick Ravad or Common as part of your languages. Now, where those go is going to be on your second sheet, underneath species, features, and traits.
Excellent, I see that.
It's important, but it's not like game changing. Everything I've tried to do, everything we tried to like, you're going to need immediately like in game is on your first page. There's no like over flipping back and forth, right?
I think I'm going to go with Common.
Okay. And Common. Now, Common is not like English in the same sense of
like
right.
D&D.
It's like Star Wars Basic.
Sure.
Right. Everybody speaks it to some point.
It's the trade language.
It's the trade language essentially. And then there's trade language. Then there's actually a trade language that's like the merchant's language, which really, I've only ever heard trade language spoken in the supermarkets in Mazatlan and Mexico City. They've got their own little Spanish trade language down there, which is really kind of cool. I'm sure other languages have that. So resistances, there are none.
Okay.
However, you're going to gain a plus 15 to your alertness. So on your character sheet on the first page, alertness is on the left-hand side, fourth one down. Put a plus 15 there because we'll determine these in just a few minutes, depending on how long it takes us. And you gain 4 heroic luck. So that's your base. So I would just put 4 there because that's actually probably going to increase. Now, one of the things that I told you at the beginning is like there's a couple of mechanics that you're like, you like to have the things that actually make people do things. Heroic luck, if you've ever played, the best way I can simulate this is if you've ever played Savage Worlds, beanies.
Yeah.
Right? These are the same things. Allows you to change the way you play the game immediately. Like let's say you fail a roll, like you want you fail a roll. All right, you can spend a heroic luck and re-roll that roll. Let's say that you critically failed or you failed the roll, especially if you critically failed it. You can spend 2 heroic luck and ignore the critical, which means ignoring all the negatives of it, but you skip your next turn essentially. If you have 10, which seems to be everybody's goal, humans get a lot, Elwyn get a lot. If you have 10, you can actually, let's say that you're in a battle or something bad happens and you are going to die. And you die.
Okay.
You can actually spend 10 heroic luck and bring your character back to life. Like somehow miraculously they survived that attack or what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can bring your character back. It's like someone actually said it at one time and I can't remember it. It's kind of like at the beginning of John Wick, the movie. He's basically dying, but somehow he's made it alive or something like that.
Right.
So he gets those kind of things. And heroic luck allows you to change the dynamic of the game. You can even ignore an entire attack or ignore an entire thing happening to you. You can spend 3 heroic luck and actually, have what's called a helping hand. Like it won't be a magical item, but you know what? I think I've got some rope in my backpack, but you really didn't pie it. But I've got a helping hand and it's probably there. I'm going to spend 3 heroic luck and I've got it.
Okay, cool.
All right. So the next thing that you need to do, and I know you're reading, so you're kind of like half paying attention to me.
Yeah, no, no,
No,
no.
no, no, no.
I am definitely also paying attention to you.
Um,
I appreciate all this.
the next thing you're going to do is shared thoughts. That's going to also go in your species, features, and traits. Shared thoughts.
Shared thoughts. Oh, that's cool.
You basically have a 15-foot radius of telepathy around you.
That's rad.
Um, and you can actually do it to multiple targets,
Oh, that's cool.
right? So when you're addressing multiple targets, it's possible with a willpower check TS of 1 for one additional target above 1. So if you're just communicating with one person, there's no check. All you have to do is just they have to be willing to let you understand that, and you have also got to share the language, right? It's not like the
Okay.
right. It's not like a perfect telepathy where people can just come in your minds and they know what language you speak and then you guys understand each other. You have to at least understand the language,
Sure.
and stuff like that, and then you can expand that to everybody else. Now, all Legends of Kralis characters begin play at first rank with 5 abilities. You're going to
Okay.
gain 2 now from your species. Then you'll gain 2 from your your focus, and then 1 that you get to choose. And we'll get into that in a little bit more. So,
Okay, great.
as a Haba 2, you have some expanded abilities that you gain. The biggest one is the Clockwork Companion. That that can take a minute to actually develop because you're literally developing another character alongside you.
Sure.
But choose 2 of these.
Man, I feel like if you, I hope you don't mind,
No,
but I feel like if you're given the option to make a like robot friend and you don't make a robot friend, what are you doing?
right? Exactly. Where are you at? Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm definitely interested in the Clockwork Companion. And then the Beguiling Liar, I also thought was pretty interesting. The idea of being able to be this like uh, intelligence based kind of a class, and then also be able to convince people to do certain things is appealing to me.
Well, and that's one of the cool things about it is you can be highly intelligent and still be charismatic about what you do because like you get to choose how your character develops. You're not stuck with
Sure.
okay, I can only do this, but I really want to do that too. No, you can only do this. No, you can do all. It's I've tried to do the best I can to make the game a more
That's
of
cool.
a toolbox in character creation and play than actual strict rules.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, so those are the two that I'm the most interested in, I think.
so do you want to do Beguiling Liar?
Yeah.
All right. So, since this is your first ability, on your character sheet below species features and traits, there's a section called abilities. Put Beguiling Liar there, and then however you want to. Basically, I would just take the last part of the sentence where it says you gain +2 successes on any convince, gambling, or haggle skill usage, and that's basically what your ability does, right?
Cool.
So whenever you roll a convince, gambling, or haggle, you gain an automatic 2 successes to that.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
Cool.
Clockwork Companion. All right. So you have the distinct honor of actually doing this for the first time.
Nice.
So what type of companion do you want to build?
So I see crow, cat, dog, and raccoon. Hmm. I think I want a raccoon friend.
Okay. So on your character sheet, 3rd page, there
Okay.
is a there is a space there for companion familiar. So
I see it.
you
Yep.
can type in however you want. So you're doing a Clockwork Raccoon.
Yes.
All right. So I'd put that in its species. It's going to be a small size. You can name it whatever you want. The
Okay.
philosophy will be neutral because it's a clockwork, so it has no real ambitions for good or evil.
Sure.
All right. And then we're gonna build it.
Excellent.
All right. So normally if you came back and actually wanted to build this is the base cost for all these things, right? So you can come back and build another one, but it's going to cost you. This is when you're first designing your character, you get one for free, right?
Oh, cool. So
So
you can rebuild it if it gets destroyed.
right, absolutely, yeah. And then but
Cool.
you can use the same template, but now it's going to cost you 450 silver pieces to actually do this raccoon, right?
Sure.
So it can't fly, but it does have a move of 4 feet per turn, so it's kind of slow.
Okay.
So in the move, fly, swim, it's 4 feet. And if you just want to stay on that sheet, I can relay things back to you.
Great.
It doesn't have any burrow. It can climb 4 feet. So on its little skills and abilities, you can put climb 4 feet per turn.
Okay.
Um, it can jump 2 feet maximum up. So jump 2 feet. Jump
Okay.
2 feet. And then it can leap 1 foot forward. So leap 1 foot. If you've never seen a raccoon leap, you're missing out on life. Um, they can swim, but I didn't put any swim for the clockwork companion because I just don't think a raccoon would actually like to swim.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever seen a raccoon actually swim before. They probably
Yeah,
do.
I'm
I've
not
just never
sure.
seen one. All right. So now we're gonna get into some of the other specifics of it. So its health points are going to be its size based plus construction material, and so since we're kind of doing a basic one here. As your GM, I wouldn't let you use like iron or steel. Well, maybe iron, but definitely not steel.
Sure. Sure.
Its health points are going to be its size, which is 10, plus
Okay.
its the construction material is, so we'll say iron, so it has a total base of 13 health.
15 health. Excellent.
13. So half of that would be like 7, and a quarter would be like 4. And those become important because the worse you get, the worse you're hurt, the worse you're able to do, the less you're able to do.
Oh, cool.
Um, its construction is going to be iron. So in the character sheet, probably in its spells and abilities, I put iron construction. Hello, out of print. How are you today? We are working with GM Jordan. He is creating a Habatu, and we are currently in the middle of building his clockwork companion, um, and stuff. So he's iron. Fatigue is none. Attack skill is a base of 15. Um, so their attacks. Skills and abilities. So in their attacks on the first line there, base skill will be 15, and it'll probably, I think it's just claws. Yeah, I think it's just claws. So you can put claws there. It has a base, base attack skill of 15 and a base damage of 2.
Two. Excellent.
And then, so that's that. Armor absorption is going to be, so it's going to be iron, and it's going to be 2 points, or 3. So iron. So it's armor. Yeah, so in equipment, I would put iron. Well, you could either put it in 2 places, either in their skills and abilities, iron construction, and it has a 3 armor absorption, armor absorb,
Okay.
or you can put in equipment. I think it'd probably fit better in the skills and abilities, so there's not that many.
Sure.
Um, and its basic defenses are all going to be 25.
Okay.
So just in its defenses, just put 25 in each of those. Now you can, and here's the cool thing, each rank you can actually improve and build on that and make them better.
Oh, fun.
Right? So you could spend time in your downtime actually, you know what, I'm gonna make him better and those kind of things. Its power source. Now here comes the question: do you want it to have a small nuclear engine that can blow
Whoa.
up, or a tiny clockwork perpetual engine, or a
Oh man.
Docal crystal power source? Both the atomic battery and the Docal crystals can explode on you, and small ones like this can do a lot of damage, but in a very small little area, right? But they can do a lot of damage if they blow up.
Sure. I think I'm gonna go with the clockwork
Clockwork? All
engine.
right. So in the character sheets under its equipment, just put clockwork engine. And it's a perpetual engine. It's somehow, I don't know the mechanics behind it, but I'm sure it's got like a continual winding.
It's like when it moves, it
Right.
winds
It
its
winds
own
itself
part.
or something like that, right? So its attributes, since you're small, its strength and stamina are 40, and its agility and perception are 60.
Okay.
Um, Strength is 40, stamina is 40, agility is 60, and perception is 60. Um, Now, its mental abilities all start at a base of 40. All right.
Okay.
And if you're looking at the character sheet there, you can actually come back later and increase it, right? Like I'm going to spend time increasing his intelligence. So it's going to cost me 100 silver pieces. So 500 silver pieces gives him a plus 25 to his
Sure.
intelligence, right? And so that's all going to be 40. So his intelligence, wits, willpower, and charisma are all 40. And so skills. It starts off with alertness, brawling, search, or stealth, and tracking. Right?
Brawling, other search. So I get tracking, but then I can choose alertness, brawling, search, or stealth. Okay, I'm gonna go with stealth. I think.
No, so what you get is you get all of these skills except
Oh.
search or stealth. It's either search or stealth and tracking. So you
Oh.
get
Okay.
alertness, right? Right. So you get alertness, brawling, search, or stealth and tracking.
Okay. Then I'm
Language
going to
is
take.
language is funny,
Then I'm going to take stealth and tracking.
right? Fantastic. So your alertness is going to be there. Your brawling will be there, and you're going to take search and tracking.
Yes.
Give it search and tracking. Search and tracking. Break those down into two different lines.
Oh wait, no. I thought I was taking stealth and tracking, but not alertness, brawling, search. Which I'm sorry, I'm confused. I'm confused about which ones I get to choose from.
You get the machine itself gets alertness, brawling. Then you decide whether it gets search or stealth, and it
Oh,
gets tracking.
oh goodness gracious! I'm sorry.
I may have to rewrite that to make it more clear because I want them to have those skills, and then maybe
Yeah.
search or stealth. Maybe I need to put that at the end um, of it, mostly because of the
Okay,
fact that I
so
was
I'm
trying to
gonna
keep
take.
everything alphabetical. So
Yeah, no. That's great. So I'm gonna take stealth instead of search and
stealth instead
tracking.
of search.
Yeah. So I've got alertness, brawling, stealth, and tracking.
All right, fantastic. Now all those skills begin at a base of 50.
Okay.
However, you want to write that down since you are using the printable. And that. So technically, your first rank, like I gave a sample of it. Actually, this is like a very precious thing to you because it's almost 15, almost between, I don't know, maybe between 12 and 15,000 silver pieces to actually do it correctly. I think we'd have to figure it out, but at this point, it doesn't matter. That's what you've got. And you've got a little raccoon
Aw, little raccoon
clockwork.
friend. It's very exciting.
It's fatigue points. They don't have fatigue points. They don't
Okay.
tire out. They have claws as part of their attack and and all that other stuff. Luck, they don't have any luck, and their vision, we'll just put normal, because giving it like night vision would be like another step up in what you want to do. Gives you the base.
Sure.
Um, and I think that's it for this guy. The only thing we'd have to do is come back and put in the modifiers for the attributes, but we'll do that in a little bit.
Cool.
All right, we are essentially done with that. And then we get to go to page 53, which is your character attributes, where we're going to start working on developing your character's attributes, your strengths, your strength, stamina, agility, all that sort of stuff. So, I don't know, did you print out the attribute determination sheet by any chance?
I don't have it printed out, but I can pull it up.
Okay. Well, it's no big deal, because we can actually do this. So what happened is, what we've done is this, is we've made everybody's, as a species, everybody starts off with the same base mental scores, right? They're all
Okay.
50 right across the bat. Now, so you being a small character, your strength and stamina are going to be a 40, and your agility and perception are going to both be a base of 60.
Okay.
Very similar to your clockwork. So, and I can actually run the numbers over here if you want me to. That way you don't have to worry about it.
Great.
And you should be able to see it on the screen, yeah?
I can indeed, yeah.
All right, so now we're going to do your dice rolls, and I'm going to put them over here in the campaign modifier. So now this is how this works. You roll 4d10,
Okay.
re-roll any ones,
Okay.
and discard the lowest. So you're going to end up basically adding 3 together. And then let me know what that score is.
Okay. Here's a 1. Ooh, I rolled quite well. For the first one, I got 26.
Brilliant. Just do that 7 more times.
Okay. Ooh, another pretty decent one. 27.
Wow.
Yeah, these are kind of nuts. That's good. 17.
There's the average one.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have to start coming up. Ooh, 28.
Wow. Yeah, so sorry, I just saw your comment out of print. Yeah, so your clockwork animals can be worth a lot of money. So they become very
they sure
important
can.
because everybody else in the world knows how expensive they are, and they become targets of stealing and reselling. So there's this whole black market happening for clockwork animals.
15.
There's another average.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, it's in intelligence. I would want that one.
No. So look, so this is the thing. I'm just writing these down. You then get to assign them. Yeah, you can assign them when you're done.
That's exciting. All right. 21.
Huh?
Oof. Uh, 21.
Wow.
Oh,
All right.
And then that's it.
That's it. So now with these scores, you can move them however you want.
Okay.
Right, and place them anywhere. So are you going to try to be a caster, or where do you see yourself going?
I think I want to go caster. I want to see what the magic system in this is like.
Okay, so the things that are going to be important to you as a Haba 2 caster are going to be your stamina, because that's where we draw all the power to cast spells from, and your intelligence, which helps you determine how many spells you get and how many skills you get and all the other stuff. The other one that'll be important to you the other 2 that'll be important to you will be wits and willpower. The agility and perception, give you bonuses to your physical defense, so your physical defense score will be better. As a
Sure.
caster, though, I don't see you being a frontline fighter,
Sure.
right? So,
So let's put that 28 in intelligence, I think.
okay.
Let's put the 27 in stamina, I think. And what were the other ones that you said were important? I'm sorry.
Wits or willpower.
Yeah, let's put the 26 in wits, and then a 21 in willpower. Let's put a 21 there, yeah, in charisma. A 21 in agility, the 17 in perception, and the 15 in strength.
All right, there you go. All right, so now you get to choose your species modifiers.
Okay.
According to the rules, we have a set standard bonus based off your species. But we also want to make sure that we allowed and afforded people to not want to be
Sure.
biocentric.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I get that.
you can either choose to go with what we've laid out, which is pre-calculated, or you can choose to give your character a +10 to any two of the attributes and a +5 to one. And the +5 is not that big of a bonus. It might give you up
Sure.
one extra modifier, where the +10 will give you a bigger bonus. So it's however you want to do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a +10 in intelligence and a +10 in wits.
So did you went with the standard?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
brilliant.
fine with that.
No worries. So +10 wits and +10 intelligence. Brilliant.
Yeah, let's do that. Get that intelligence super high.
All right. So we are now moving over to the next portion of this. Is called character focuses. Like I said, this
Okay.
is as close to classes as we get, and we basically broke down the concept of classes into combat, knowledge, stealth, and social. Right? Those are the
Okay.
basic four focuses. Now, here's the cool thing: you don't have to choose knowledge focus. It gives you awesome bonuses for your intelligence or for being knowledge focused, but you can decide to be a social focused character that takes knowledge focus abilities
Oh, that's cool.
and those kinds. So it's a mixed match. But if you go so our abilities are divided among the four focuses, right? So if you're social focus and you decide to take a knowledge focus ability, it's going to cost you some extra merit that you need to earn per rank,
Okay.
right? But I think you really want to stick with the intelligence,
I think so.
with the knowledge. So I think you're definitely
I
going to go
want
with
to just like
knowledge.
lean into it.
Right, brilliant. So at the very top of your sheets, there's a focus. Write in knowledge there, and I'm going to select knowledge for you.
Excellent.
All right. So you get focus modifiers based off of your choice. So knowledge, you automatically gain a +5 to your intelligence from your
Okay.
focus, and then you get to add another +5 to either willpower, wits, or stamina.
Let's do stamina
Okay.
so I can be a little bit more casty. I can cast a few more spells.
Right on. All right. So that's it. Your basic attributes are done. And so I will. You can either. Here, let me do this. Undo. I'll copy. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start putting your attributes on the character sheet,
Okay,
and
great.
then I will also tell you what the bonuses are. So you can either wait for me to finish, or you can copy it over as I do it. I'm gonna go kind of fast. So
Yeah, I'll just wait until you're all done. That's nice that the PDF, that the form fulfillable tells you what the bonuses are. I love when people are kind enough to do that in these kind of things.
well, coming from my perspective, I am not the 800 and 900 pound gorillas on the block, right?
Sure.
And I'm kind of coming from, hey, I wanted to introduce you to a new type of system. So I've got to do everything I can to make it as easy as possible for everybody. So your strength is going to be 55. Your modifier is 1. Your stamina is 72. Modifier of 4.
Okay.
Agility is 81. Modifier of 6. Perception is 77 with a modifier of 5. Your intelligence is 93 with a modifier of 8. Your wits is a modifier. His wits is 86 with a modifier of 7. Your willpower is 71 with a modifier of 4. And your charisma is 71 with a modifier of 4 as well.
Okay, awesome.
And that means we are done with the attribute determination sheet, and I can close that bad boy out.
That's cool. That's a cool system. I like that.
Well, I've always, people when they're doing this, right? Because I want to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. Is I even use it because this makes it easy for me to write things down, and okay, I can just do all that fun stuff.
And then you don't have to flip back and forth between 25 different things.
Right, exactly. All right, so now as a knowledge focus, this is where we're gonna get into a little bit of the crunch. As a knowledge focus, and this is something we're gonna have to just kind of like put in our memory until we get to it.
Sure.
You gain 2 free additional trained language skills.
Okay.
And you gain any 3 other trained knowledge skills other than the actual skill called spellcraft, which you need to be able to actually, you actually have to pick that one. So basically, you're starting off with a bonus of 3 basic skills.
Okay.
So 3 knowledge skills. I'm going to write this on the character sheet here. There's a little spot that you can actually write that down on the fillable one. And then plus 2 languages that you get to choose. Languages. Have you ever looked at a word and go, I know how to spell it, but that doesn't seem right, and you just
that's not a real word.
That's not a real world. And then you start double, and then you actually have to go to Google, and you're like, okay, I was right. My brain was wrong. All right, and now, like I said at the beginning, you characters begin with 5 focuses or 5 abilities altogether. 2 from your species and 2 from your social, 2 from your focus. Since you went with knowledge, there's a list here of all the abilities that you can choose from, and they should be hyperlinked. So if you want to know what they are, you should be able to just click on it, and it'll take you right to that page of where they're at.
Whoa, very cool.
Some of the ones that people really choose are like focus and alchemia. Some do spell affinities. I don't know. There's just a lot of, I don't know. I'm not a caster, so I wouldn't know what I would pick. I'd probably go with focus and elemental sphere, because elemental sphere allows me to actually cast spells into like a stone or a marble that I can keep, and I can actually give them to other people, and they can actually use the spells, but they have to pay for the fatigue cost to actually cost them. And they only last for a little while. It's not like you could sit down one day and go, I'm going to do this for 8 hours and have like 10 million of these. No, they only last for a little while.
So which ones did you recommend?
I recommend focus because it gives you bonuses to your skills when you decide to use focus. And I like elemental sphere because you can cast spells into other items and then
that is pretty cool.
However, there's also biomechanics that allow you to literally, if you want to, you can actually fix people up with $7 million man enhancements, the bionic man.
Oh, that's cool.
And again, that's a downtime kind of thing, right? But it's there.
Sure.
And none of these.
Oh man.
Oh.
I'm totally gonna go with biomechanics.
Yeah, biomechanics is fun. So since that is a first one of your abilities on the second page below Clockwork Companion, just go ahead and put biomechanics there.
I'll put a page reference.
Yeah, you're gonna have to, because there is so much information there. Yeah, that is definitely that. And then which one else are you gonna do?
I think I like the focus idea. I like the idea of being able to you said that focus lets me it gives me I think I'm gonna go with focus.
Yeah, so focus gives you a +5 bonus per every 20 willpower or intelligence to a single specified skill for 1 turn per willpower intelligence modifier. So
Whoa.
right, so you could actually use this in the middle of casting, in the middle of combat. You can give yourself bonuses based off that.
You get a +8. Wow.
Right.
Oh wait,
Um,
no, it's
no.
times 5. Yeah, it's all that's good.
So whatever your willpower intelligence, so your intelligence is what, 93? So 20, 40, 60, 80. You get a +20 to your skill if you chose
Pretty
that in
good.
the it gives you a real big bonus. Huge
Yeah,
bonus.
let's go with that. That seems cool.
Okay. And
I like
focus.
the being able to know the I need to succeed on this.
Right.
Um, I will spend a little bit of whatever kind of resource is necessary. That's cool. I like that in a system.
And everybody thinks that, I've had a couple people think it's overpowered, but it's not when you've got monsters that are capable of just thrashing you. Every time we play in my live games, I have that moment of dread. Like if I like activate this monster's ability, it could be a TPK. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna press the button, and I end up going, damn, I should have pressed it earlier.
Yeah, yeah,
Because or I should have had more of those. Like just previously, they took on a chimera, which is only an 8th rank monster, but it's huge and it's got a lot of cool things. And it didn't stand a chance. Literally, it didn't stand a chance. I was like, man, I should have probably brought 2 of those in. That would have really divided the party. And I've and I know I'm an experienced GM. I mean, I've been
sure.
playing since 1977. I always tell other people, never ever underestimate the player characters. They will
Oh,
always
totally.
mess you up.
Yep.
You know,
That is
j-
why I am a big proponent of like that your combat in games should be hard because the players are smarter than you.
well, they're
Like
not only smarter than you. There's more of
they'll
them.
there's like 4 to 6 of them. They
Right.
will think of something that you couldn't possibly have thought of.
Right.
You need the numbers
Yeah,
advantage.
you absolutely do. And within Legends of Kralis, we've been on the edge of a TPK where people are down, they're hurting, they're really bad. And all it takes is the proper use of heroic luck to completely change the battlefield. And
Sure.
it's done. And I'm like, oh man, I almost killed you guys. And they're like, you feel bad about that? I'm like, yeah, I could have killed you. Should have killed you. Why didn't you know? All right. So as
The GM needs a win every once in a
every
while.
now and again, right? You gain 10 fatigue points plus 10 fatigue points as a
Okay.
bonus. So that's going to be on your first sheet. Put it in your max fatigue because we're about to figure those out in just a minute.
Cool.
And then every 5 ranks, you gain an additional skill for free. So that would be something I would put in my traits. So every 5 ranks, gain 1 free skill.
Cool.
Um,
And are ranks this game's version of
of
like
levels,
like levels?
yes.
Cool.
I've had so many people say, "Well, why didn't you just use levels?" I'm like, "Well, because I don't want to. Don't
Because
make me
it's
do something I want to
different.
do. It's
Yeah.
different." And then I've had people come at me say, "Well, you know what? Games, people who produce these games don't, I'm like, stop thinking in the mindset of that particular thing. I
That's
mean,
also not even necessarily true. There's a lot of games that don't use
right,
official levels that do very well.
right. But it's funny. Everybody I've rolled up characters with because they're not part of, you and I are both a part of Bigger Talk, and we're always like, "Hey, play this game,
Sure.
play this." They always revert back to saying levels, even though it's ranks, and it's
Yeah.
it's interesting, and it's like, wow, I'm even changing an official change that's going to happen. You haven't seen it yet. I'm actually changing the name of one of the species because Dungeons and Dragons players have asked me why I spelled the name one way, and why are they not, and how are they different from what D&D did? I'm like, you guys suck, but okay, I'll play your game. I'll play your game. Right? It's like for a while there, and we'll get back into this, when people were actually playtesting this for me, and it was being led around in different circles, really the trollish circles, I would get emails and comments about my description of the weapons, like longsword. Well, that's not technically what a longsword does or how it's used.
God.
And they were coming at me with these troll-like things. I'm like, fine, excuse my language, but big fuck you. All I did was change the names. I just changed the names. Now come at me and tell me that's not what that weapon does. Uh-huh. Right?
No, it's a word that I made up.
Yeah, it's a word that I made up. So come at me, you know. And it's just like, seriously, if you guys want to play those kind of games, I'll play those kind of games and I will win. Especially since I'm writing it. All right, so we are essentially done with your focuses and stuff like that. Now, what's interesting about the focuses, when we get ready to choose your skills, you get to choose 4 of those skills inside the knowledge skills that become focuses. And they'll gain an additional plus 10 to your skill on that once we get there. And then things happen once every couple of ranks for you as well. I think we are essentially done. We are going to be moving to page 57.
So I get 3 of which skills? I'm sorry.
Oh, so don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about that right now. Those are bonus skills.
Sorry.
Those are going to be your bonus skills. You're going to actually gain a lot more skills. So just to answer your question before we get there, you're going to start off with a total number of skills of your intelligence modifier plus 6 plus those 3. So you're going to start off with 17 skills basically, plus the 2 additional free languages. So you're going to knowledge, focus, intelligence characters always start off with a bunch of skills.
That's cool. I like that.
And just for everybody who's at home or watching this later, we have actually taken the time to actually work with a bunch of differently abled individuals that we've actually rolled up characters with. And I rolled up a character with Dungeons and Dorks across the way there. And she did it because she wanted to help me refine deaf, hard of hearing, and mute individuals and how they'd be better represented in Legends of Kralis. And I'm like, we've got these skills. We'll just give them, so if you come into the game and you're deaf and hard of hearing and you want to play a deaf or hard of hearing character, you gain sign language and read lips at a base score of 100. That's just what you do.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
It's just, you don't even have to worry about increasing it. It's just what you do. You can increase it, but it's just what you do. Page 57 is where we're going to start. We're going to now develop your overall. This is where it gets really crunchy. This is the peanuts on the hot fudge sundae.
Excellent. I'm excited.
All right, so health points. Since you're a small character, you're going to start off with a base of 20 plus your stamina modifier plus your willpower modifier, which is a total of 28. Again, don't get hit in this game because 2 successes. So one of the things that's interesting is out of print GM plays a small character, a Mannix. And he's always worried about his health because if I hit him hard enough, he instantly goes down. So now he's learning to pull back and be the ranged attack instead of trying to be the frontline fighter, right? And stuff like that. Hey, Lord Byron, sorry, I didn't even see you, bud. I didn't even see you come in. I appreciate that. All right, time to lurk. He's probably teaching Taekwondo this morning. So your base, your half health is going to be 14. And then your quarter health is going to be 7. And that is important because if you get to 14 health points, 14 or less, all your actions suffer a minus 3 successes. So it becomes harder, right? And so if you get to a quarter of that, all your physical stuff suffers a minus 6 successes. So your physical defense, all your skills suffer things like that. Now we do have what's called here an instant death. Instant death isn't technically instant death. We say instant death, but let's say that I do an attack on you that causes you whatever I do, or you fall and you are suddenly brought down to 7 or less of your total health. I can ask you to do a stamina or willpower check or die, which means that you're dying, which means you're at 0 health, 0 fatigue, and you're bleeding 10 health every turn until someone can heal you. You don't die until you reach your stamina score in negative health. So for you wouldn't die for like 7 turns. But 7 turns, I don't know. I've only killed 2 characters in the entire time I've played Legends of Kralis because of that. So healing is a thing here. All right, so now your fatigue points are going to be your stamina score plus your willpower modifier plus your bonus. And it's your entire score. So you're going to start off with 82, 86 fatigue.
Okay, plus that additional 10, right?
Right. That includes that 86 includes that additional
okay.
10. Right.
Okay, cool.
So normally it would be 72 plus your willpower. So it takes you to 76 base. And then you add in the plus 10, brings you to 86.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. Defenses. Every defense starts off with a base of 30 plus appropriate attribute modifiers. So it's going to be in the middle of the section, and it'll be underneath the armors and defenses. There's physical, magical, divine, and Jinhu.
I see it, yeah.
All right, so your physical and is going to be 30 plus your perception and agility modifier, and in your case, it's going to be 41.
Okay.
Magical defense is going to be 30 plus your intelligence and stamina modifier, so 30, 42, right?
Okay.
Yeah, 42. Your divine defense is going to be 30 plus wits and charisma modifier, so 37, 41. Wow. And your Jinhur is, yeah, those are actually, I mean, those are good starting scores for you at this point.
Cool.
So it's going to be, your Jinhur is going to be 30 plus willpower plus intelligence modifier. So 38. Wow, 42 again. Those are some exceptional starting scores for that, because most people don't get above 35s or 36s.
Okay.
Right?
Nice.
Not
bad for a soft boy in the back.
Right, exactly. Give me a second. I have to let this crazy cat out.
Yeah. Do what you need to do.
No, because if I don't let him out, he'll sit there and meow, and it'll get louder and louder until he's like screeching at me to let him out. Demanding little fucker. So your movement is 10. You have no bonuses on that. Your heroic luck. Now, this is what I was saying. Your heroic luck is going to go up. So it's going to be 4 because you have a +4 there, plus your charisma modifier. So you're going to start off with 8 heroic luck. And I hear. So my wife, my loving wife, who plays Legends of Kralis, if she's around and she hears this, she's got a little bit of a cough right now, but she's looking at me and she's doing this. I'm like, what? And she's looking at me like, you know what I'm talking about. So my wife is graciously giving you an additional 2 heroic luck. So now you're at 10. She breaks my game and my character generation all the time. So hopefully we'll be able to play. You'll be able to play. I'd really like to get some another game going.
I would love to.
So that's your heroic luck. Now, random your age and your weight and your height. You can either randomly determine it, or if you want to do it fast, you can just do the average. Whatever you want to do.
Let's randomly determine it.
All right. So it's going to be 45 and 3d10 for your age.
3d10?
Yep.
All right. Altogether, I rolled an 18.
So 63 is what you are. 63, right? 45 plus 18. Yeah, 63.
Yeah. And where do I put that?
That's going to be on your second sheet under top of the part where it says personal information.
63.
Your height and weight randomly determined is going to be 3 foot plus a d10 in inches.
All right. 4.
You're 3'4". You're tiny, dude.
3'4". Just a little old man.
Just little, man. Actually, you're not that old for a how about two. They live to about 175, so you're about middle age.
So he's like just a little bit below middle age.
Yeah. Your weight is going to be 65 plus 4d10.
Uh, 23.
So 88 pounds. You're either a round little man, or you're just really wiry and got a lot of muscle.
I think he's round. I think he's like a little tubby.
A little tubby. The dad bod.
Yeah.
All right, so vision. As a how about to you start off with night vision, which is important when you're
Okay.
working or doing things at night, because there are penalties for people who don't do that. So if you're doing things in a non-full moonlight, it's a -10 penalty. Complete darkness, dungeons, caves, or no light at all, it's a -50 penalty for you to do things, and that kind of stuff. So now what we're going to get into is your encumbrance. Now,
Okay.
normally I don't care about encumbrance, but it's there in case you're like, you know what, I'm gonna pick up the kitchen sink, the bathroom tub, the
Sure.
bed, and all right, really, seriously, all right. For you, it's going to be it says there, but for small characters, it's going to be like 2 times your strength, 3 times your strength, 4 times your strength, and 5 times your strength. But I've already got that figured out for you because that's what the
Okay.
character sheet does. So your none is going to be 55. Light will be 110.
Okay.
Moderate will be 165. Heavy will be 220. Severe will be 275. And your maximum lift is 275 pounds.
That's actually pretty impressive for a little 88-pound boy.
Right. Well, and the thing is, I've had people like, what, 275 pounds? That's how much you can hold, right? Like if we stacked
Sure.
you and stuff like that, that's how much you hold. That's not necessarily, and max lift, right? You can lift 275 pounds. Doesn't mean you're going to be walking very far or going anywhere. You're going to run out of fatigue,
Correct.
incredibly
You can
fast.
basically deadlift
Right. You
275
know,
and then put it down.
right. And then you're done. You're like, okay, I'm spent. Right. It's kind of like it's kind of like along those cases that you've seen or heard of, like moms picking up cars because the car kind of
Right.
collapsed on their kid and they do it. And then, it's like, wow. And that's where I base that off of. And it also makes it look a little more heroic. All right. So now your initiative at the very top of the first page
Okay.
is based off of the following modifiers. It's going to be your agility, perception, and wits. And I'll just give those to you because I've already got those all pre-generated.
Oh, great.
So your initiative is 18, and it's based off of your agility modifier of 6, your perception modifier of 5, and your wits modifier of 7.
Excellent.
The miscellaneous mod will be anything from, like, say, a ring. Maybe you have a technological item that you developed that gives you a better, a spring in your step or something like that.
Sure.
That can improve that. All right. Now, here's where we get into really starting to think about your character. Philosophies. As a longtime gamer yourself and a connoisseur of many games,
I don't know about that.
well, I don't know. I've seen your TikToks and
I'll take it.
I've seen your bookshelf behind you. So, alignment works for Dungeons and Dragons mostly. It'll always be something good. We decided to go with philosophies, and we've given you 3. You're either good, evil, or neutral, right?
Okay.
95% of the world is going to be neutral. Even the monsters are going to be neutral. They're not necessarily working towards evil or good ends of things, right? They're just who they are. And and a lot of people actually do. Some people do good, some good, some do bad, and some do a combination, right? The truly
Sure.
evil would be specific individuals coming out of the Nazi regime in the 40s.
Sure.
And really good would be people that would be really good that you like, oh my God, this person is so good. Like, say, Mother Teresa. Those are some examples.
Sure.
Now, don't get me wrong, Mother Teresa had her issues, but still, those are the concepts, right? So if you're going to be good, you have to work at being good because we give you philosophy points. If you do not maintain a certain number of philosophy points, you drift into neutrality. And if you're a divine caster, you will lose access to your god
Really? That's
if you do not maintain a good or evil philosophy. So the question becomes, are you good, neutral, or are you evil?
I think he's neutral.
All right. On
From you describing it felt like neutral.
most people, like I said, most people are neutral. I mean, and I don't mean to be that weird, but it's like if you came across $100 bill on the outside of a shopping center and you look around, no one's like running to come get it, and you pick it up. What are the chances you're actually going to take it in and turn it into somebody, or are you going to actually stuff it in your wallet and say, well, That
Sure,
sucks.
right.
I mean, I would hope some people would turn it in, but most people are just going to stick it in their wallet and move on. They just are.
And that's a good point that that's not an evil act.
Right. It's not an evil act. It's just an
It's just
act.
it's not inherently good.
Right. It's not inherently good. Right. So on your back sheet, write neutral in your philosophy. And you can, and here's the funny part about it. If you do too many good acts, you can drift into being good.
Oh, that's funny.
And that will change your philosophy. And then if you're like, and then we have like what's called devoted evil and devoted good, that if you're devoted in either one of those, you actually gain bonuses to certain skills and actions
Oh
towards
wow,
people
that's
of the
cool.
opposite philosophy of you.
Sure, that makes sense.
Here's the next big one: aspects and motivations. It's on page 62. Now, this is another one I can't really help you with. This is where
Sure.
Mootley just shut down for like 10 minutes as she read through all of these and was like, oh, I like that one. Oh, that one's even better. Oh, that I can combine that with that. So Dear Heart she was fun to watch her face when she was doing these things. So pick one aspect and one motivation that you feel your
All
Hara
right.
2 works.
I'm gonna just jump into it. I'm gonna go with ambitious aspect.
All right. All right. And then what about your motivation?
Let me look at those real quick. Ooh, obscure knowledge.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Obscure. Okay, so on the back side of your sheet under personal information, write in ambitious and for your motivation, obscure knowledge. Now,
Excellent.
the motivations actually influence your reputation. You've taken obscure knowledge as your motivation. It's going to gain you a plus 5 to your reputation. Everybody starts off with a base of 10, but you're starting off with a base of 15.
Okay.
And reputation is something that you can use for yourself or use towards other people. Like, I want to, do I know him? Okay, roll. And let's say that you fail the roll. Well, you may not, you didn't really fail the roll. You know of them, you've heard of them, but you've heard of them as being these giant slayers and these people that take down, massive syndicates inside Dagdura Shiva. But that's not really what they do. They're just a simple,
Sure.
you've heard these rumors, and that's what the roll. If you successfully rolled underneath it, you know their reputation as what it means for that. So it's not really a failure. It's more of an explosion of how far does the GM want to give you rumors about this person,
Cool.
true or not. All
I
right,
like that.
your next big one is you're going to need to change. There's 20 of these is backgrounds.
Right.
I can give you a hint or help you with this. As a knowledge-based spellcaster, the best ones for you, if you're looking at, are either going to be Hermit, Guildling, or Sage.
Ooh, I like sage. Let's go sage.
All right. All right. So your background is going to be Sage. So I will select that and you can write it in. And there's also Cathologist. That's if you want to look into the lore and stuff of demons and otherworldly, non-worldly
Sure.
things. So there's that as well. All right, so what we've done with all the backgrounds is we've given you some basic hooks in case anybody needs to know anything about it. Or some people have difficulty coming up with a background or a hook for their character, so we've developed them for you. You can definitely come up with your own. Now,
Sure.
the next thing you're going to need to do is associated skill bonuses. There are 6 here. Choose 3 of them, Jordan, and then those 3 will gain a plus 10 to them.
I'm gonna go with engineering,
Okay. So plus 10 engineering.
and I'm going to go with research,
Perfect.
and let's go with smithing.
Smithing. I like where you're headed with that. All right, now choose one of those 3 and they become a focused super skill for you, meaning it gains an additional plus 20.
Let's do engineering.
All right, so it's a base of plus 20. All right, now on the second page, on page 66, top of 66, is because that's the way the layout. There are a couple of associated bonuses. Choose one of them.
Let's go with +5 magic defense.
All right. So you're a base of 46 for your magical defense. All right, and we are essentially done with that. Now we're gonna do we're gonna kind of do some calculations here. So turn to page 69.
Nice. Okay.
You're absolutely right, Serby. This point of the show is brought to you by Mootly Moments. Having a hard time making a decision? Mootly Moments.
I am definitely. I try to be the opposite of that, where I just go like, I'm just gonna make a choice. I like this one. It sounds cool.
It sounds cool, right? Yeah. No, and but that's also the fun part about it. You know, you can go through these things, and what's interesting is I could sit here and I could create another habit too that goes down the exact same path. I choose knowledge, but then I start to diverge. And
Sure.
we're two habit two that are knowledge focused, but I'm a different type of knowledge focused. Right?
Yeah, I don't know what, like, in the back of my head, I see him as like a librarian at a mechanics.
Brilliant.
Like a librarian mechanic is like the idea that he like researches like different ways that mechanisms function together.
Absolutely.
And like builds tools for the library to function.
Absolutely.
Better.
So there are abilities that are in there. So we have craft magical items, and we also have craft technological items as abilities. So
cool.
you can actually choose those as that, but you and do other things with that. So all the skills that you're going to choose, you need to like focus on those, like engineering, smithing, fabrication. You can even and what I mean by build technological items, you can even build thaumic batteries if you have the right materials. And thaumic batteries,
those are like the nuclear.
right. But what they do is they can range from about that size to the size of my house, depending on what they're going to be used for. And what they do is they actually have. I've spent time doing this. I don't know if it matters or not, but they actually are charged. The batteries themselves charge a magical. A spell that's inside them that keeps charging the battery, which allows that to actually give off electrical energies or magical energies to power engines, items, and all kinds of things. And they actually have a combination of things, so they become really small nuclear weapons. They really do, and they're not, And people are like, well, what kind of setting is this? Is it fantasy? And I'm like, no, it's science. It's science fantasy. It's an ether punk.
Sure.
So not everybody's going to have one, but you've seen them. I mean, you've seen, as players, you've seen other people fly by on levitation bikes, right? Some people have horses because that's all they can afford, because levitation bikes cost 6,000 silver pieces each, So I've tried to do a well blending of these. So merit determination and I'm going to use Dungeons and Dragons as an opposing example. In Dungeons and Dragons, they have experience tables, and I don't think Burning Wheel does it?
No. No. Advancement in Burning Wheel is weird.
And it's a little different. So what we've done here is we allow you to create your own experience table. Each rank, it's gonna go up, but it's gonna also determine on your focus, your species, and what abilities you've chosen. So each person's merit requirement is going to be different per rank.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But we also allow you to do other ways of gaining rank, and that's in the GM's guide. So as a species, you are a Habatu. Your base species merit point cost is 1,600. This is going to be on the second page under personal information. So 1,600 goes there. Campaign is going to be 400 because that's what we're doing. We're doing a standard campaign growth, so that's going to go up every rank. The next one we're going to put in there is going to be our ability merit cost, but we can't do that until we decide which abilities you gain.
Okay.
So currently you should be at like 2,000 total merit for you to actually go up to the next rank. And what's cool about it is we give you different things that you can rank up with, right? So when you rank up, you can increase, you gain one new ability You gain new heroic luck. You gain some rank bonuses, and those rank bonuses allow you to either gain new skills, increase your health, increase your fatigue, increase an attribute that you need, so you can gain a new skill to actually gain an ability that you want, or even increase your luck. Restful stays allows you to get rid of any insanity points that you may have come across when you're dealing with things that give you insanity. So we've given a lot of different options on this.
Cool.
All right, so we are essentially done with that. Now we are moving on to character skills, page 73.
Excellent.
So you're going to begin with your intelligence modifier plus 6 basic skills plus 3. So that's what? 17 skills altogether.
Okay, wow. And what do I put in these?
Score wise. So at the beginning of character creation, any skill that you choose begins with a base of 40 plus the controlling attribute modifier as a bonus.
Okay.
And if you choose four skills, they're considered what are called focus skills. They start with an additional plus 10, right?
Okay.
But before we get to that point, to start doing that, we have to finish up basic skills. Bottom right-hand corner, there's a gray box for you.
Okay.
So we're going to figure out how high you can jump. These are your basic skills. In case you ever need, you don't need to worry about figuring them out later.
Okay, cool.
Right. So your ability to jump, which is straight up, is half your height, which is 1'8". So we'll just call it 2 feet, plus 1 foot per every 2. So you can literally jump 4 feet straight up. You can jump higher, tall. You can jump higher than you are tall.
Whoa.
Hey, come on, you're a legend. Your leap is going to be half your base movement, so that's 5 feet.
Okay.
Your lifting is going to just be your strength score, so that's 55. Your swimming is going to be 1 foot for every 10 stamina, so it's 7 feet, and that's basic swimming, right? Everybody can swim, or at least most people can. So that's what I'm hoping. Your fear, your versus fear will be your willpower, which will be 71. Your horror check will be 86, which will be against your wits. And poison will be your stamina score, which is 72. And and poison, yeah, poison works very well. And horror is something that the out of print and the British boys that I play with have really struggled with because they've been fighting a lot of horrific undead that's just challenged them. So that's that. So on page 72 is a list of all the character skills. Or I'm sorry, 77.
Okay.
So if you notice there in the middle, it says knowledge skills. Those are all the skills that we've deemed that are intelligence based, or that we feel should be a knowledge skill more than it should be any other skill. When you choose these, 4 of those that you choose will gain a plus 10. Now, you will, if you want to be a caster, you're going to need spellcraft. Spellcraft allows you, along with arcane touch, which will be the first ability you need to choose, allows you to cast spells.
Okay.
So you definitely need that one. So that one's going to be 40, and I know you're going to focus in it, so that's going to be 58.
And where is this? I don't see it on the.
So it's on this first on the
here we
first
go.
shape skills. Yeah, and it's alphabetical.
Of course. I'm sorry. That was just
No worries.
stupid.
No worries.
So what am I going to put in spellcraft?
All right. So this total score is going to be 58, and this is how you get to it, Jordan. It's going to be a base of 40 plus your controlling attribute. So in this case is your intelligence, so that's 48. And I know you're going to focus in it.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's going to gain a plus 10, so you're at a base of 58.
Excellent.
And then there's like a little box there that you can check. That way we know it's a focus skill. Because focus skills gain additional skill points every 5th rank. Every 5 ranks.
Okay.
And then what you need to do now is just you've got 16 more skills.
Oh wow.
So, how to help you on this? Some of the skills that you're going to need that I think that are going to be important to you: engineering, fabrication, herbalism, meditate, research, and smithing. Those 6 skills are going to be essential to you as a intelligent spellcaster, right? And fabricator. Those are going to be the ones that are going to be important to you. Other skills that are going to be important to you are going to be like search, skepticism, convince, and some sort of weapon, like a weapon craft of some sort. I mean, yes, you will have your spells, but you may want to also be able to stab somebody or shoot somebody if they get too close.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So I've got 9 skills already kind of selected for you, and then you've got 7 more skills after that you get to choose. And you still get to choose 2 additional free languages.
Okay. I think I'm going to take Haggle.
Okay.
As well. So wait, so like if I'm taking convince, what do I write there?
Convince. So it's going to be a base of 40.
40.
And then you get to choose the modifier. The modifier. It's either going to be intelligence, strength, or charisma. Which one do you want? You know, are you right?
Intelligence.
Right. So it's going to be a base of 48, and check off intelligence. That way we know you're using your intelligence score.
Okay, cool. I think I've got it. And so if I'm taking engineering and I already have a plus 30 in that, it's going to be 78.
It will be ultimately 78 if you focus in it. Yes.
I'm already focused in it.
Right. So it becomes a double focus. That's why I'm saying it becomes a super focused skill for you at the end.
Oh, okay.
Right. That's why, I mean, it's 78, and most of your skills are going to be in the 40s and 50s.
Okay, cool. So Haggle is 40 plus my charisma 44.
Mm-hmm. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have you down to 12 skills.
12 left. I am going to take that meditate.
Meditate's important because of the fact that it, I think it is
47.
It is a actually, if you want to focus in it, it can become a 57. And the reason why it's important to you as a caster, anytime that you want to recover fatigue points, which is what we use to cast spells, you can attempt to meditate, and if you're successful with your meditate skill, the number of fatigue that you gain in your 1 hour of meditation is equal to your 10 plus the total number of successes times your stamina modifier.
Oh, then let's for sure focus on that.
Right.
So that bumps that to 57.
Right. Spellcasters really need that
one. I'm going to take research.
Okay. So that'll be a 58, 68 if you focus in it.
How many focuses do I get?
4 total, and you've got 2 so far.
Okay. Yeah, I might as well. So 68. Fabricate, I definitely want.
And that will be a 48 because that's a general skill. Anybody can take that one.
Oh, okay.
Fabricate is the MacGyver is the MacGyver skill.
Okay, great. I definitely want smithing, and that's a general skill. I've got a plus 10 in it, so that's going to be 58.
Right.
And how many more do I have? I'm sorry.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 9 left.
I have 9 left?
Yep.
Holy cow.
And you don't have to take them all. You just have the ability to do that. And it's kind of funny when I say that to people, they're like, no, I need all these skills. I'm like, all right, you feel like you need to.
Let's do skepticism at 48.
Skepticism is the ability to detect lies and if someone's lying to you, or actually lie. Cool. Yeah. And then convince is the opposite of that. I'm going to convince you. that I'm a very handsome man and I'm worth $1 million.
I'm going to take um, herbalism, and I'm going to focus in that, I think.
All right, so that's 58. I believe 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all your focuses.
Okay. And I have 7 more skills left.
Right.
I'm going to take.
Now, a couple of things that you need to know. You're going to need to know lore biomechanics, lore
Okay.
magical, and things like that. So don't. Those are still important
Let's get
for
those in
those.
there then.
Right.
So
So
lore biomechanics.
right. So just to give you an idea of the lores, on page 85 and 86, if you're looking on my machine or looking here, there's lore technological, which is something you're going to need.
Okay.
Lore arcane, and if you want to take any of these other ones or another one that we can make up that you want, but definitely lore tech. You just say lore tech and lore arcane.
Okay. So I have
Those are each
4
going to
now.
be, yeah, there's going to be 48 in each one of those, and then you
I
have,
I will take a weapon craft.
okay, so that takes you down to 5, and then weapon craft.
Um, what are my options?
Okay, so right now, weapons are divided into 3 categories: either strength based, agility based, or perception based.
Okay.
So I would think an agility based weapon
Or
for you
agility
would,
based.
right.
Yeah.
So right there in weapon craft, in the small parentheses, just put an AGI right there, and we know it's going to be 46 beginning. We'll pick
Cool.
out the weapon when we get there, but at least you know you have
Cool.
that slot. Right? That takes you down to 4 skills. Don't waste that alertness,
Yeah.
because you got a
Yeah. That's a
bonus
good
there.
point.
You got a bonus
That's a
there.
good point. I will take alertness.
That takes you to 55, and
Yeah.
you're down to 3.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Alertness is what Tolaris game masters will use when they actually ask you to, make an alertness check before you get attacked. You
Sure.
know,
I'm
or
gonna take forgery.
interesting. Okay.
Sounds fun.
So that would be 47.
47.
You're down to 2.
2 left. Um. Let's take.
Now there's still other languages. While you get 2 free languages, there's still languages like magical script. And when you learn a language,
Oh,
you learn how to read, write, and understand it. So there's still you still
magical
got 2 of
script sounds
those. You still got 2 languages for free, and you still got 2
Yeah.
skills. So if you want more languages, you can definitely do that. I just
Well, I'm
don't
definitely
want
gonna
you.
take. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take magical script
Okay.
because I'd like to be able to read like scrolls and stuff.
So that we'll take that out of one of your free languages.
Okay. And what are some other languages that might be appealing?
Uh,
Where are those?
those are on page 85.
Okay, cool. Ooh, I think I'm gonna take. I don't know how useful it will be. Um, I think I might take ancient common.
Yahaldra. Yeah, it works.
Um,
Okay, so that gets rid of your base languages, your free languages. Now you have 2 skills left. And ancient common is actually a lot more out there than everybody does, because there's even Krilo languages that actually are a combination of one of their languages and ancient common.
okay.
So yeah, it becomes a lot more useful than most people realize.
I'm going to take trapcraft.
Trapcraft, interesting. So that's
40.
48, and you have 1 left.
Let's go alchemy.
Brilliant. And you will definitely need that at some point. All
Yeah.
right. That's all your skills. You're done with skills.
Man,
Yay.
lots of choices. I love that.
I'm an old school kind of guy. I mean, literally, like I said, I cut my teeth. This is I cut my teeth on the D&D white box with
Oh,
chainmail
sure.
along with Rollmaster,
Oh God.
right?
So you are a roll on a table to see what other 10 tables you need to roll
Well,
on.
I never said I liked it. I said that's where I cut my teeth, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is so complex, but I loved
It's
it,
really,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then also Shadowrun, and I never got into the World of Darkness, Vampire, Werewolf, or any of that. I
Sure,
had a lot of
sure.
friends that did it, and I understand the appeal for it, and I understand how to play it, but it just never appealed to me.
I can totally understand that. I
It,
played a little bit in college.
to me, it was a
That was
lot
it.
of goth.
Yeah,
When it was, I mean, when it first came out, all my friends that played it were goth, and it was like they almost looked at you like you couldn't play it unless you were goth. I'm like, okay,
yeah. You also like had to be one of the cool kids
right,
to play it.
right,
Like,
right. You have to be one of the cool kids. Wait, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons. You're not cool. What?
I mean, that was kind of the thing. It's like if like, oh, you played Dungeons and Dragons, we're over here
Yeah,
playing a real game.
real games over here, and I'm like, but you're not really doing anything.
Exactly.
You're vampires, and you're like talking about
Yeah,
trauma and other things like that. I'm like, that's not fun for me. I want to
yeah,
escape my trauma. Let's go do
yeah,
something else. But
yeah.
yeah, no, and I totally get it, and a lot of my, like I said, I had a lot of good friends that were goth at the time, and they would tease me and I would tease them back and forth. But, and that's where like I said, where we got the original mechanic for that is because I liked the D10 pool. I liked
Sure.
Shadowrun's D6 pool, but it was, some of those dice rolls that you're rolling like 30 D6 or 30 D10. And I'm like, it takes me longer to figure out, okay, that's a 10, that's a 5, that's a 9, okay, and then,
Yeah.
and so that's why we compressed it into our own D100 system, which is a 2D10 or D100 roll enter system and count successes, which emulates the dice pool for all intents purposes.
Sure.
So it works.
Sure.
All right. So there's one thing you're going to need to take. If you're going to be a spellcaster, you have to take the ability Arcane Touch.
Okay.
There's no ifs, ands, ors, or buts around that because that's the ability that allows you to. Let me get
And
to
where
it.
do I find this?
So, it's going to be on page 114, and it's actually in the bookmarks. So you can click on that, or just listen to me and take you to page 114.
Man, there are so many abilities. It's very cool.
There are 302 abilities. There were 301, and then out of print GM was like, "Hey, I really like this ability. Can we make an ability that does this?" I'm like, "All right, that sounds cool. Let's do that." And so it's actually became an official part of the core rules. Shadow weapons.
And how do you determine what abilities you have?
I'm not
Like
sure I understand your
how,
question.
how many do I get like wh- where do you like buy these in character creation?
So when we we're kind of skipping around, right?
Oh, okay.
If you were to read this page per page, beginning on page 93, which is right after skills, it describes to you how you get your skills, abilities, costs of abilities, when you gain them, and all this other stuff, right? And that would be on page 93. But we're kind of skipping around because you've literally got the living book in front of you, which is me. So we're kind of skipping around. But abilities, beginning abilities on page 93, it states that at first rank you begin with one ability of your choice. When you do this, the total number of merit points that you must gain for your next rank is increased by the merit cost of the ability.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
As on this particular one, since this is your first ability, you have to meet the prerequisites of this ability. The abilities for your species and your focus, you don't need to meet the prerequisites because that's part of your background. But for
Sure.
this, you need to. Like, for instance, if you really wanted to be a spellcaster and you didn't have an intelligence of 85, you couldn't be a spellcaster,
Oh wow. Okay.
right? And so it's very important to meet those things. And it goes through, gaining new abilities. When do you gain them? The cost of abilities, how to use them, and all these other things. So we're kind of skipping around here,
Cool. Cool.
because
Cool.
you've got me,
Yeah. That's
right?
great.
So on page 114, this is the one, if you remember, I said that all first rank characters begin with 5 abilities, 2 from species, 2 from focus, and then your chosen one. This is your chosen one. You
Okay.
need Arcane Touch to be able to cast spells. When you
Cool.
first take Arcane Touch, you gain a +5 modifier to your magical defense. So now you're at a 51. No, sorry,
Yeah, that's a 51. That's high.
no,
That's
no, no, sorry. It's actually 47. I was gonna put it in your physical defense, but it's a
okay.
47. So it's a 47, which is still pretty high. I mean, little less than half of the time, you'll get good successes. Um, and then you also gain an additional +10 fatigue points. So now your fatigue points are at 96. And so, for all intents and purposes, on your ability score sheet, focus, we're going to put Arcane Touch here. You're taking it at what's called the heroic tier at the beginning, and you every 5 ranks you gain you can choose to purchase this ability again to gain access to higher ranking spells, power ranked spells, or level spells.
Cool. Cool. Cool.
And you're going to choose 2 elements of what you want to use to cast. We'll get to that in a minute. You also gain the ability to create magical tricks, and there's a lot of them, so I just put magical tricks and page 114.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, it's prestidigitation. Prestidigitate.
Prestidigitation.
Yes, that. They're magical tricks. It's the same,
Yeah.
yeah, the same thing. And you have the ability to cast power rank 1 and 2 spells. So cast PR 1 through 2 spells. And PR becomes important a little bit later. So that's you're essentially done with your core character creation. Now we have to choose equipment and spells. But I think the spells are going to be more important at this moment. So we're going to bounce around a little bit. We're going to go to page. So you have an idea. Go to page. Where is that? Page 225. This gives you a basic description of the elements and their uses. Unlike, and I actually pulled this out of. What's the name of it now? I can't think of it now. Oh, Jordan. The one book, the one RPG that allows you to play a spellcaster, but you get to make the spells up as you go. Starts with an A.
Oh, why can't I think of it?
I can't think of it now. You know someone's yelling at us if they're watching, and they know it.
You know that improv GM knows that.
Oh, you know he does. You know he does.
I can't think of it right now, but I know what you mean. Okay. I think I'm going to take air. I get 2
You get 2.
elements you said. I'm going to take air.
Ars Magica.
Ars Magica, that's it. That's it, yep. I've never played that. I've always wanted to. It's supposed
It
to be
is a
kind of
very intense game. It's kind of like, and you and I think you're the only other person that I know that has played that really big one that you play as gods.
oh,
Oh
not Godbound.
no, I have to actually think of it now. I'm having a hard time remembering it.
Yeah, me too.
It's the one it's a very thick, heavy book. And I actually have it, but it's in the other room.
Sure.
You're the only other person I've ever heard actually have read it. It starts with this.
And I think I'm going to take. I like the idea of taking air and earth.
Air and earth. All right, cool. All right. So, now that you've got those elements chosen, which would you rather prefer to do? Select your spells or purchase your equipment?
Let's do spells.
All right, fantastic. All right, so on page starting on page 245 is where we begin the magical spells index.
Excellent.
So, as a caster, you are allowed to gain access to power rank 1 and power rank 2 spells. You're allowed to have your intelligence modifier and total number of spells, and you must have a spell book to be able to cast spells. Because we use arcane formulas to be able to cast the spells. If you do not have your spell book, let's say it's stolen or lost or you've been captured and they've taken away from you, you can still attempt to cast the spells, but it's at a minus 50 to your skill score.
Oh, goodness.
There is an ability called spell memorization that you can actually memorize spells. However, there's a chance each rank you will go insane.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because you're containing all those magical energies and forces in your brain, and it just slowly drives you insane.
So how many spells do I get again? I'm sorry.
8 total.
8 total spells. Okay. And I can choose those between between any, air, and earth.
That is correct.
Cool. Look at some of these.
Nobilis.
Nobilis. I've never actually played Nobilis. I've only read it.
No, neither have I. I've never played it. I've only ever read it. I'm like you. I think you're the only other person that I know that has it, knows it, and has read it. I've never played it because I don't know how to play it.
Jenna Moran games are rough.
Right? And I read it, and it's a beautiful book, but I'm like, how do you play this?
Yeah.
It would take someone with intimate knowledge on how to play this. I just don't know how to play it.
Yeah, I don't know how to play it.
But it's a gorgeous book.
It is. It's beautiful. It's an odd one. I love that that it calls the GM the Hollyhock God.
Right?
It's like a very funny thing to me. What are these power rank varies? What does that mean?
So that means like in Durza, right? And I'll go to Durza right now. It has so Durza, we'll use that as an example because it's an any, it's on page 280. It has built within the spell, as you get higher in rank, it unlocks different things you can do. Right?
Oh, okay.
So like Durza, which allows you to basically hold or freeze a target in place starts with vermin, which is basically your basic insects and animals, right? At power rank 2, you can do beasts. At power rank 3, it's plants and oozes. Humanoids at power rank 5, and it gets,
Cool.
as you get better, the spell just automatically increases for you.
I'm definitely going to take teleport and scrying.
I don't know if you can actually take teleport.
Oh, it's under berries.
Right, but I don't know if it has.
Oh, it doesn't have an earlier ranked one.
I don't
Okay.
know. I'd have to. No. Let me just double check because it says berries. I have to actually check.
Okay.
I think you can at
If
a.
not, that's totally fine.
Yeah, you can't even begin to take it until power rank 4.
Okay, cool. Can I take scrying?
I believe you can. Let me just double check that. I think what I need to do, and you just pointed out a small thing. I need to make sure I go in there and tell what the base PR is at, even though it varies.
Sure.
Makes it easier, so I can adjust that. Scrying. No, you can't until power rank 3.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, I need to go through and adjust that.
Yeah,
So
no
I will
worries.
write that as a note. Thank you for finding a flaw. I appreciate that.
Let me see about illusion.
And what I'm slowly doing, Jordan, is I'm going through the PDF that it's going to be released, and every spell will be internally linked to that location. So,
Oh, nice. Okay, so I can take illusion because the simple one is power rank 2.
right.
I'm gonna take that, and that is on page 297. Power rank varies 30 feet. Okay.
So some good ones for you. There's one that's in the any. It's called Elemental Shield. It literally allows you to bring up a shield of magical energies in front of you that
Ooh.
actually can take damage for you before it applies to you. There's also Force Armor as an air spell, which is a power rank 2.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of looking for protection for you for the most part.
Sure.
Also, Levitation allows you to cause a target or an object to
Ooh.
move to rise off the
I
ground.
didn't even see that one.
Um,
Ooh, I also kind of like shadow movement.
Shadow movement works really well as well. Shock is a simple shocking spell. There's also Force Blast and Energy Globe. Those are some of the basic attacks that are used in air.
Let me look at Earth as well.
Right. Elemental Armor allows you to actually grant yourself magical armor and can be used in combination with Elemental Shield.
Where is elemental armor?
It's on page 246.
Oh, the yeah. Yeah, I'll take elemental armor.
One of the ones that Kirby uses in our Against the Iron Lords campaign is Pebbles to Boulders. It literally allows you to throw pebbles at somebody, and in the middle of them being thrown, turn into these 400-pound, 4-foot diameter boulders,
Jeez.
and they each do different separate damage. And he's used them uniquely. That's the best word I'm going to say.
I'm taking that. That sounds cool.
Repair, since you're a mechanicist, allows you to repair non-magical items.
Ooh, yeah, for sure. I want that. Let me see how many spells I'm at right now. 7. I can get one more.
Wall of Bone is easy. It literally creates a wall of
I
bone.
saw that. I think I like that. I like the crowd control kind of thing.
Right. Air has one as well. It's called Walls of Mist and Snow.
What would the main difference between that be?
Okay, so let's go take a look at the walls. I think that's on page. I'm not gonna even guess because I'll miss it. I'll end up in some like page, like chapter 5. I'm pretty good with knowing my pages, but the spells are the hardest ones to.
A lot of them too.
Yeah. So on page 326 is where we kind of talk about the walls. So Wall of Bone allows you to create a 5-foot thick, 5-foot height, and 5-foot long per success Wall of Bone. And it has a certain number of durability points. Walls of Mist and Snow. Mists allows you to create a wall of thick swirling mist. You can pass through it, but it provides a 75% cover to anybody on either side of the wall. Right? It's almost like a fog spell, but it's an actual wall.
I think I'm gonna go with Bone.
Bone. I like Bone because it's easy and it actually gets more powerful as you get higher. It's definitely a spell that keeps people from coming across. They can still see you, but they can't come across very easily. They have to actually get through the wall. All right. So, are you interested in knowing how to cast spells?
Yes, please. I would love to learn.
So, I'm gonna just have you kind of figure this out. It's not that hard. So, you have the skill called Spellcraft. Go ahead and let's say that you want to cast Elemental Shield, right? Because that's easy to do. All right. So on page 281 is the description of the spell. So it has a duration of 5 turns. Go ahead and roll your Spellcraft score against your Spellcraft score. It's 58.
I'm just looking to get lower than a 58.
Well, the lower you get, the better it gets.
Okay, I got a 61.
So that would be a failure of your casting. Now you can choose to spend the heroic luck to re-roll it. Let's say you're in a really pressing situation and you need it, right? That would be the end of your turn, or you go, you know what? I'm going to spend a heroic luck to re-roll that.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't write and don't take anything off. We're just using this example. So then go ahead and re-roll again.
Even worse, 80.
You need new dice.
I do.
So let's say you were successful. In fact, I will even roll it for you, just so we can have a generate.
Oh, here, I just re-rolled. I got an 11.
Okay, fantastic. So here's how. This is what you determine, and this is where we get. I know it's complicated, but I don't think it's complicated. You rolled an 11. Your score is 58. How many successes did you get? You subtract the tens number from the tens number. So 5 minus 1 is
4.
4. And you rolled an 11, so 8. So because your ones is less than your ones, you get an additional one. So that's a total of 5 successes.
Oh,
Okay.
That's easy.
So Elemental Shield is going to have a duration of 5 turns. it
Okay.
it creates a shield in front of you that has an absorption of 5 points plus 1 per success. So the shield in front of you can absorb 10 points of damage before it disappears. Right? And the more successes you get, the better, the longer, not longer, but the better it'll absorb. Now, let's say that you rolled an OT1 through OT5. Those are what we call our criticals, right? And actually, you can actually increase your critical range by taking certain abilities. You roll a single D10, right?
Okay.
And if you get a 10, it explodes. Every time you roll at a 10, it explodes and it continues to explode.
You can theoretically roll it a couple times in a row.
Well, it's more than just theory. That tends to happen around my tables a lot.
Really?
Right. Out of print GM a couple sessions ago, rolled 32 successes.
Whoa.
He rolled his critical, then he rolled 2 additional criticals. The dice exploded on him once, so he got a 10, and then I think he got an additional 9. All that added up together gave him 32 successes, and he was firing his pistol, which was enchanted with spiritual magic or divine magic, so it could actually damage some undead, and basically shot this undead wolf that was attacking them, and literally it just burst into dust. It's one of those times when I know how much damage, how many successes you've got. I don't even calculate it. I'm like, how do you want to do this?
Right. Right. It's like, I don't know.
It doesn't matter. People are like, well, how much damage was that? So technically, what he did damage-wise was 155, 165, 171 points of damage with one attack.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
That would kill me.
Yeah, multiple times. Well, and the thing is there are certain creatures like the undead. They have undead toughness. Unless you have a specific weapon to actually deal damage to them, you can't kill them. That you can drop them down to 0, but the undead will regenerate and come back. So skeletons take like an hour to regenerate, while some of our more powerful undead take like 1 turn to regenerate back from 0 to full health.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, so it's kind of intense when they actually fight the undead. They're like, yeah, we got to do it quickly. So that's how that works, and so if it was damage, all right. So on this particular one, you have 5 plus your total successes. But let's say you're going to do one that's called like Energy Arc, right? Energy Arc is a 5th rank spell. It's a Genhur spell, and it's on page 282. With your 5 successes, you would multiply your total points of damage, which is your base damage, of 8 times 5, and that's the total amount of damage you would do with a spell.
Oh, nice.
Right? Now, if you were attacking somebody, when you attack me or I attack you with a spell or an attack, I get a defense against it. So this is where it gets a little complicated because it's an active defense. You rolled 5 successes. I rolled my defense against magical, right? Which tends to be kind of low for some people. And I failed. So all of your successes we get through. But let's say I get 2 successes. That subtracts from your total number of successes for your base. So instead of getting 5, you've got 3. And I might have armor that absorbs it, but generally magical damage is not easily absorbed. Unless it actually says like a physical. Otherwise it hits them directly. And that's the basic mechanic of it.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I've got some good spells here.
You do actually. You do have some good spells now. All right. Let's finish up your character because we are almost done.
Excellent.
I know we've been going for a couple hours, but we've also been talking and things like that.
Yeah.
So
I'm fine.
starting money starts on page 161.
161. Hopping way back. Okay. All right. Excellent.
So as a sage, you start with the second highest amount of money at 550 silver pieces. That's your base.
Oh.
Now you get to add the blessings of the gods. So roll your 2d10 and roll as low as you can.
Ooh, 12.
Excellent. You're going to add an additional 600 silver pieces to that.
And where do I put this?
Uh,
I see. So altogether, I have
1,150 silver pieces, 1150. And because I'm being generous and we're creating your first character, I'm going to give you the GM optional species bonus of an additional 100 silver pieces. So you have 1,250 silver pieces to spend.
Thank you.
Now, you can choose to purchase armor if you like. It has no effect on your spellcasting abilities. I don't see why that's ever been an issue. You can choose armor if you like.
Okay.
It costs a little less for you because you're smaller.
Nice.
So as a, I believe it's like, let me find it real quick. Like it's half the cost. No, it's 3/4 of the cost. So if you wanted to buy, like, say, scale armor, it's uncommon. There's a 50% chance you won't be able to buy it. It would only cost you 3/4 of that. So whatever 1,800 is at 3/4 if you wanted to buy that. So, but you don't have that kind of money.
Right.
Right. So 1,800.
So I could get ring armor or because I also have a low strength.
Right. You have a low strength. So ring armor is the best you'll be able to do.
Yeah, I think ring armor sounds good.
So I believe that's 225, I believe.
It's that's what it would come out to, yeah.
Yeah. If we took the
So I'm at 1,025.
And so your armor on your first page, just above armor, above your physical defenses is armor. Go ahead and put ring armor in there. Your armor absorption, I believe, is 11.
It is indeed.
And like I said, so if you actually did damage, let's say you did the 40 points of damage to me, or if I did 40 points of damage to you, your ring armor would absorb 11 of that, and you would only take 29 points of real damage.
Okay, and I would still die.
You would still die. Well, you wouldn't die. You wouldn't die. You would do what's called a holding zero check, which allows you to make a stamina check. If you make your stamina check, you are still up, you're still fighting, but you're at 1 health, 1 fatigue, you're still moving, but barely, right? Maybe, and you can only do one action, which is either like a full action or a move action. And most of the time people do that to crawl to their healers going, I need you. Where are you? And some, like my son who plays a warrior, no, I'm just going to full on attack. I'm like, all right. And when he makes his attack, he has to make another holding zero. If he fails, he passes out. He's unconscious and dying.
That's cool.
So there's that. I don't think you're going to want a shield.
Yeah, I don't think I need it.
Yeah,
I'm hopefully not going to be getting hit.
Right. So weapons. So you've got a lot of choices here. Now, I do not suspect you're going to be an upfront fighter. You're going to be a ranger, someone who fights from a range.
Yeah.
So you have your choice. We chose perception and we chose agility as your weapon craft. You can choose perception if you like, and it would only be 45 instead of 46. Perception weapons are your crossbows, your rifles, your pistols, your energy blasters, those kind of things.
Okay. And what are agility weapons?
Agility weapons are things like all pikes, some swords like cutlasses, daxes, some daggers, some chains. Well, in fact, almost all the daggers. Slings, sling bullets.
Oh hell yeah! I have to take a meteor hammer.
Yeah, that's very heavy, and so what?
Oh, is it? Never mind then.
Well, it's not. It's very big. It's a two-handed weapon that has a 15-foot in your case would probably be a 7-foot chain.
Oh, okay.
It's a two-handed weapon that you have to use. It ignores 10 armor, but you can't use it if there's somebody around you. You have to
Okay,
have your
never
own
mind then.
space.
Can I take the spiked chain?
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds cool. I don't know what it does, but I'm excited about it.
It's a chain that's got spikes on it that actually does more damage.
Dope.
So if that's what you want to, if you want to do that, so what you're going to do is you're going to take chains as your category, right? It's not
Okay.
just spike chains; it's chains. And
Which
since
means
you're,
I can also use a whip. That's cool.
yep, spiked chain if you like. Total skill will be 46. Its base damage, I believe, is 3. Bonus damage is going to be 0 because you didn't take what's called Death Strike as an ability that allows you to use your agility modifier for bonus damage.
Okay.
Your strike range is going to go up to 10 feet. So anything within 10 feet you can hit.
Okay.
Your crit range is going to be standard, so it's going to be Ot 1 through Ot 5. 1 through Ot 5. And then your special is going to be the specials are D10, F5, and 0.
And what does that mean?
And so while you're using this weapon, your physical defense goes up by 10 if you're using it because you're keeping people away from you. So your physical defense would go to 56 if you're using the weapons. If you choose to use it as a merciful weapon to cause physical fatigue damage to somebody, it does a base of 5 damage per success against their fatigue, which allows you to knock them out faster. And O means that it cannot attack through a space occupied by a friend or foe. So you can't attack somebody behind somebody.
Sure.
You can only attack what's in front of you.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And I wonder what kind of special rules did I put in there for?
Can I also take a sling? Is that a possibility?
Yes, you can take a sling. And I'm also saying you can also take a pistol if you so choose.
Oh, interesting. I might do that. Let me actually look at the pistols. So I might do a pistol instead of a sling. It would just be slightly harder.
Right. So because you're not trained in it, it would be a base of 35 to use it. And you can get trained in it on the next rank.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take a pistol.
All right. So
You said that there's also like energy weapons.
there are, but they're very expensive to start off with.
Never mind then. I will take a pistol.
All right. So a basic standard pistol, a standard quality, has a cost of 500 silver pieces.
Okay.
And if you want to read more about it, it's on page 179. I'm sorry?
Okay. Well, I just am keeping track of my money. I'm down to 425.
Right. 35. All right. So I actually have to get this art redone. I don't like it anymore. It's very flintlockish. All right. So it has a basic cost of 500 silver pieces. All right. It does a base damage of 5. Doesn't have a bonus damage, and its strike range is its range, but its critical is Ot 1 through 10, I believe.
Ooh.
Yeah, Ot 1 through 10. And according to the chart, and I like charts, this is why I'm old school.
Yeah, it's a cool chart. I enjoy charts.
It has an A15 for its special notes. And A15 means that it ignores 15 points of armor damage, of armor absorption. So when you shoot somebody, you shoot them.
I might actually trade my weapon craft to pistol and have the pistol be my like main weapon,
All right.
and then
So,
just change that to weapon craft perception.
well, you can take both of them. What I've done, if you'll notice on the screen, what I've done is I've included both of them, but I've just
Yeah.
written it down that you have a 36 and one and a 40,
Oh, okay, cool.
because you can still use it. You're just not trained in it, right?
That makes sense.
Anybody can use a weapon. You're just not as trained in it as somebody who picks it up and knows how to use it.
Cool.
0 and strike range is its range. You do need to purchase bullets for it, and
Okay.
bullets are. This is the only time we need this. The missile weapons are the only thing that really need to be tracked all the time. You start off with, so it's basically it's lead bullets are 1 silver piece per bullet, and generally pistols have a capacity of 2 to 6 bullets. I generally go with 4. You generally have four round clip in a sense.
Okay.
So however many bullets you want to carry.
I will carry, and it's 1 silver piece per.
Yeah.
I guess like 50.
Okay. So on the third page down, somewhere there, just put 50 lead bullets. And
Does that seem like too few, too many?
so think about it this way: every time you attack, in Legends of Kralis, whenever you make a physical attack, whether it's with a pistol, a bow, a sword, chains, you can make multiple attacks. Every time you
Okay.
make an attack above 1, you suffer a penalty to your attack score. Unless, of course, you have an ability which helps remove that. So you can attack up to 4 times with a pistol, but it's going to be at -10, -20, -30, -40,
Oh God.
right? I mean, you're not trained in it. I mean,
Yeah.
and
No,
anybody who in
that totally makes sense.
the only time I've ever done guns is if I've ever done it, I have to stop for a second, because if I fire multiple times, my targeting is not going to be as good as it should
Oh,
be
right. Yeah.
until I get really trained with it, right? So that's where that comes in. So you can fire it up to 4 times. So every time you turn, so you can either fire it once per your turn, twice, 3 times, or 4 times. Do you feel 50 bullets is enough for you to carry? I mean, it's
Maybe
not
I'll
like
make it 100.
100. So that would be 100 silver, totally gone.
Okay. I'm down to 325 silver pieces.
All right. Before we finish, and we're nearly done, is purchasing your actual adventuring equipment. So on page 182 is the beginning of that.
Okay.
However, if you go to page 189, and unless you don't, if you want to go through and pick all those different ones, you can. Page
Oh,
189, page 189 has packs that you can just purchase and
Yeah.
go.
You know I'm gonna take a pack. I've got 320 left.
You're 25 short of the Scholar's
it's
Pack.
not. I'm probably just gonna take the standard
All right.
pack. It's gonna take me down to 25 pieces. Or I'm at 320. It's gonna take me down to 75 pieces.
Oh.
I've got the standard pack, which gets me. Yeah, I love packs. I love when games like don't make you choose, when they go like, if you don't care, you can just have these things.
Right.
Like perfect.
You can choose that. But some people like to go through there, like Kirby.
Oh, for sure.
Kirby is like, he went through and he picked every item. I'm like, there's packs. He goes, yeah, I know, but I want to pick them. I'm like, all right. You go for it. You go. It's all you. There is one thing I do need to tell you about your pistol.
Yeah.
Understand that a critical failure, if you roll a 86 through 96, it will malfunction.
Okay.
And if you roll a 97 through 100, it's a severe malfunction, up to and including it exploding on you.
Awesome.
Tormy. So Tormy did pick individual items, and Serby picked a pack. So just I just want people to do what they want to do within the rule system.
Okay.
And that, my dear Jordan, is your character.
That's amazing.
P3 is Shock Zirag exists. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save as
Fantastic. At some point, if I ever play this character, I will definitely want to save up to get like armorer's tools, right?
the thing that you're going to want to purchase ultimately is a traveling where is it? We have a couple of really cool things that are not part of the kits, right? We have alchemist labs, which are, you can have the full laboratory, a small laboratory, or a traveling laboratory. You can purchase a smithy, either the full, the small, or a traveling. And then I believe we have a technological production lab, which is either a full laboratory, a small laboratory, or a traveling laboratory.
Man, that's cool.
And they have costs that you have to maintain and things like that. You know.
Sure.
Let's see here. Create characters and check this out. And I just sent you your character in the pre-gen, the one that's automatically does things for you, so you can use that if you ever want to get around to doing that. That works that way. So thank you for allowing me to torture you for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I had a blast. Thank you for having me.
So what do you think? What's your honest opinion?
I think it's really cool. It is. I mean, I would definitely want to try playing it. At its core, I mean, the core dice mechanisms are simple, right? Of roll your D100, look for tens places below. It's not overly complex.
No, it's not, but there is the math component to it, right? That my son, I love my son. He can't do very good basic math, but damn it, he can do algebraic expressions and calculus in his head, and I don't understand how he can do that without basic math, but he does it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you stop.
I think it seems really cool. I am definitely interested in trying it.
We can definitely, and I know that you're busy because you're a teacher, right? For all intents and purposes, you're a teacher. I'm always looking to try to get more games going. I know Saturday is every other Saturday I'm playing a live game, and then I'm trying to get everybody back into against the Iron Lords. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of family things that have happened for the last few months for a lot of people. So we've been like missing and hitting that and all this other stuff. So tonight's going to be our first real big one.
Exciting.
Maybe, we hope to get back into it. But I'm always looking for times, and I always want to try to do I'm available in the evenings almost all the time. So if you want to play a game and I can get a couple more people, a couple one shots, if you want to run one shots, we'll do that too.
I would love that. Like a one shot or a short little thing would be great. I would love that.
Yeah, like one or two nights where we can just roll through things. Yeah, absolutely.
That would be awesome.
We may not get, with the one shots, obviously we don't get into the depth of like what a campaign would do, but it'll give you an idea of how your character works.
Yeah.
And you've got
No,
your
I
animal
think it's cool.
companion, so that's an extra
I
person for you.
know. I've got my little raccoon man.
Little raccoon. You're going to need to name that. So what else do
Yeah.
you think? What? Like I said, I called you the connoisseur of RPGs because I think that's what you are. I think you're an RP. The only other person I think that would
I
be
think
that title would probably be improv.
sure.
But
Sure.
you know,
I think it's really cool. I really like the skill system. Um, the magic system is super interesting and appealing. Um, uh, I like that it almost has. It seems like you could almost get caught in a death spiral, but in kind of a fun way, if that makes sense.
no, that makes sense.
Like you have to be like you just have to be careful because if you let yourself spend, I mean, I always call life in games a resource.
Right, it is a
Uh,
resource. And in
if
Legends,
you spend too much of that resource, it gets dangerous.
right, and in Legends of Kralis, that resource is very important because if you're at half health, you're suffering. If you're
Right, right.
at quarter health, you're suffering. So it is a resource. You have to manage
I,
that resource.
I think it's cool. I like that. Um, how does the so question? I'm just curious.
No,
How does the fatigue? So if you're casting a spell, do spells just have a cost in fatigue?
they do. And actually on page 224, and I was actually going to show you something else, but on page
Okay, cool.
224 is a small table of the of fatigue costs. So if your power ranks 1 through 3 spells are you're casting them, they cost 3 points of fatigue per rank per power rank. So if you cast a power rank 3 spell, whether you are successful with it or not, because you're expending the energy, it
Okay.
costs you
Just
9
let me know.
fatigue to do so,
Cool.
right? If you're casting a higher rank spell, it gets even harder. So like a fifth rank or fifth power a power rank 5 spell costs you 30 fatigue whether you're successful with it or not, right?
Woof.
And there are things that we've actually done for casting, which is based on page 230, and I'll zoom in here so you can see it on here so you don't have to look for it. It's use of fatigue with spells and powers. You can spend fatigue to do extra stuff with your spells, right? And your starting fatigue is kind of low right now because you're first rank. Wesley, who is a co-designer of mine, he has a total of 150 fatigue right
Oh wow.
now. But he goes through it quickly because he's casting because he's using these things like, right, I'm going to increase the base damage of my spell by 30 fatigue. I don't know why that's in there twice. I just noticed that. Based, he's going to increase the bonus duration, so it increases
Cool.
that.
That's cool.
I want to increase my range. I want to be able to cast it faster. So
Oh, I like that a lot.
right?
That's really, really cool.
I want to lower someone else's defense, right? So that's going to cost me 30 fatigue. I spend 30 fatigue and I cannot fail my spell, right? It only has one success if I do fail, but it only has one success. You can also do an increased concentration. You can concentrate on 2 spells that require concentration as part of its duration. You can expend 10 additional fatigue per turn to be able to do this with 2 spells. So you can double focus. We also have an ability that's called dual casting and dual casting greater, which allows you to cast the same spell twice at one target. That's the base, but you take dual casting greater. You can cast the same spell at 2 different targets.
Okay.
But that's an ability that you would have to take. And I have to figure that
Sure.
out. But yeah, so that's how it all works. And you can do all kinds of things. And we just, like I said, Legends of Kralis, we give you the structure, like GURPS does, where
Sure.
GURPS is a good system, but a lot of people look at it as just a toolbox to create a game. We've created the game, and then we give you the toolbox.
Yeah. No,
Right?
I dig that kind of thing. I enjoy toolboxes in games.
And here's
That's cool.
here's a fun part for you, Jordan, as a spellcaster, and this is why it becomes really, really kind of important to critically failing a spellcraft. There is the possibility that if you roll an ought and you do not decide to ignore it, or you're not able to because you don't have enough heroic luck, you can potentially summon a demon of various rank.
That's great. I love that.
It's only ever happened once to me where someone rolled an odd, and they're like, you know what, I don't care. We're gonna see what happens. And well, he failed. I'm like, okay, roll again. He rolled an odd, and he summoned Beelzebub.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, in the middle of a town. It was fun.
I run the Dragon Age role playing game.
Right.
In that, there's a system in that where, if you critically fail badly enough on a high level spell, that you can just die.
Right. So we have
Your character like drifts into non-existence.
non-existent.
Whoa. Almost happened. It has almost happened in my game.
Oh wow. So we have something like that called energy feedback. The caster takes 10 damage per power rank of the spell.
So that could be quite a lot.
It can be quite a lot if you mess up. We also have this thing that's called spell blights. You can gain a personal spell blight or an area spell blight. And if you get a personal one, it really messes with your capability. People avoid this. They're like, I want to avoid this at all costs, right?
I like it when magic is dangerous.
Yeah, we've tried to make it as dangerous as we can without it being too crippling, right? Too crippling and stuff. So
there are some games where like magic is dangerous, but it's absurdly powerful. So it's like, well, I really want to use it, but there's a good chance that if I use it, I will turn into a demon, right?
Right.
And lose control of that character and probably kill the party, right? So like there are games where that's the point,
right?
But then you're less interested in actually playing that kind of a class,
right?
Unless you're the kind of player who goes like, no, I'm good. I want to go out swinging.
Chaos Lords.
Yeah.
Lords of Chaos. Yeah, and so what we've done is, I do not personally like taking control of player characters or have other players take control of other characters in certain ways. So I've done a lot to avoid that. Do we have spells that are compulsory? Yes. Do we have monsters that are able to inhabit you? Ghosts, for example, can take over take you over, but each turn you get you get the ability to exercise them out, get them out of your system, right? I hate doing that, and it's like the whole thing with TikTok, right? About which is worse, necromancy or enchantment or a charm.
Oh, sure.
Right? So it's one of those things where
because it's just not fun.
No, it's not.
Like, as a core level as a player, someone saying to you like, all right, you know how you are normally get one turn every 25 minutes in combat? Yeah? No, you just don't get one now.
Yeah, you just don't get one now. Oh, great. So I'm going to sit back now. Right?
Should I just go make a sandwich?
Right. Hey, I'm going to run to Pizza Hut. Anybody want anything?
Yeah.
Are you going to order the pizza before? No, I'm going to go there and I'm going to order the pizza and eat it and then come back. Right. Yeah, I am at my core, I am anti that as much as possible. Does it happen? Yes, but we give you guys opportunities to actually get rid of it as quickly as possible.
It's a fun part of the narrative that's different than like, well, you're stunned. You get to not do anything this turn. It's like, oh, cool. Stun is great. This is a fun game mechanism that you've invented.
Right. So, speaking of that, something we haven't gotten into is combat. We have the effects of combat and conditions, right? Where these different conditions can apply to you, but a lot of these you get the opportunity to try to get out of them unless there's an ability like confused. Every turn there's a 50% chance you're just going to not do anything because you're confused. It's that way, but there's other times you're going to do that. Frightened. We have these different things that allow you to do things, and then you can try to get out of them. And some of them are like restrictive, like, yes, you have to do this.
Sure. Yeah.
But the way the system is built is these conditions don't last that long when you've got good casters or other people around you that are capable of stopping it for you, right?
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So what else? Anything else? Mon Consenior?
I don't think so. I think that's just about all that I think that's all I have.
Any questions? Any other cool questions? Anything that's like driving you in the back of your head?
Not that I can think of. I love
Okay,
the
great.
art.
I like, right? I like old 90s art and
Yeah.
black and white art. I just do.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that
I do too.
I'm going Kickstarter with this thing in February of 2022. And my biggest concern now at one point is, will I not get people to want this because it's black and white and not full color? I'm like, oh,
I don't know if that's going to be an issue. I think that there are games that do that, and I mean, Zweihander is in Barnes and Noble, and that game is
all black and white. Yeah.
well, it's all like sepia tone.
Right. Sepia tone.
It's,
Right.
It's not. I mean, it's essentially black and white. Like it's not full color, and that game does fine.
Right. So that's one of the things that we want to do with the Kickstarter is get this out into everybody's hands and then open up stretch goals so we can do full color and those kind of things and see what happens and like that, stuff like that. Well, Jordan, I appreciate you spending your lunch hour and allowing me to torture you. I say torture because spending 2 hours with me is kind of torturous. It's even my wife in the background just said it was just she's kidding.
I don't know about that.
But,
it was I had an awesome time. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And like I said, if let me see what we can do, and maybe let me know what your free time is, because I know you're really busy, and maybe we can try to schedule a game for a couple shots for you to come in and play the game for a little while.
I would love that. That would be awesome.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to end today. Everybody that's been following me, make sure that if you're following me on TikTok, make sure you go check out GM Jordan for Beggar Talk and D&D TikTok and TTRPG TikTok. I call him a connoisseur of RPGs. I even call him a critic, but it's a good kind of a critic, a good food critic that makes you want to do things better. But definitely go. Definitely, thank you for distracting my compliance train. That is not a good thing, Serby. You need to focus on the compliance. But anyways, definitely follow GM Jordan on GM. It's GM_Jordan on the talk, right?
It is indeed.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome job. All right, guys, stay healthy, stay safe, and as always, if you know me, then you know you need to stay legendary.
Exactly.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.